Welcome back to Creative Cooking. We're so excited that you decided to drop by. And because we're family, I have my sister with me. This is my sister, Janice, my second oldest sister. So I want to welcome her to Creative Cooking. Thank you so much for joining us because I'm so excited. I couldn't have done this without you.
Oh.
So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
And this is Creative Cooking, and we're going to be talking about a lot of delicious recipes that may be a little, or while I say this, it is very effective at lowering your blood sugar and your blood pressures. So make sure you speak to your doctor before you start eating this way, because you may need to make some adjustments in medications and things of that nature. So make sure that you talk to your doctor before you get started with these kinds of things. Now, I am Dr. Helen. I'm the author of Reverse It, and that book helps you reverse type 2 diabetes. We have a 3-month program that is really intensive at helping you to reverse type 2 diabetes, and this is part of that whole process. This is called our maintenance phase of the program, and what we do is we kind of help you continue with maintaining the lifestyle of reverse type 2 diabetes. I like to call it becoming undiabetic. Isn't that a cool term? Undiabetic?
Yes.
Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So we're going to start today on our show called Beans, Good for Your Heart. Now, our first recipe is going to be rosemary white beans. We're going to use 4 cans of organic beans, whether it be cannellini or northern beans or some other white bean, and we're going to rinse them well since we're using them out of a can. Make sure your can is a BPA-free can, and you'll see that on the container. It'll tell you on the container when it's BPA-free. They're proud to tell you. Then we're going to use 1 medium onion. We're going to finely chop that. We're going to do 2 large garlic cloves, and we're going to mince those. Then we're going to use 1 low-sodium vegan chicken bouillon cube, a cup of boiling water. We're going to use 2 bay leaves and 4 sprigs of finely chopped rosemary, and then we're going to just salt it to taste. So we're going to get started with making our rosemary white beans. I want you to start sauteing. Would you do that for me?
Sure.
All right,
sure.
let's switch.
Okay.
Come on over. All right, so put just a little bit of water in the pan. Yeah, just slowly, because it's going to be, we've heated the pan already. There we go, just a little bit more. Perfect, that's great. And then you're going to take your onions. Yes, and probably use that, yes. Okay, and you're going to put all of the onions in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And see, the onions is really like where you're going to start building the flavor from, like the onions and the garlic. All right, and so you're going to start the flavor building process right now.
Okay.
Here's some garlic.
Wow.
Okay. Can you smell,
I do.
how?
I love onions.
I told you on a previous episode that if ever you want to fool somebody, all you have to do is put some onions and garlic on the stove and saute it, and people will think you know how to cook, and they'll say, oh, that smells so good, and you know that you just have onions and garlic on. But we're going to build flavor with even more. So right now, we have the onions, and the onions look a bit translucent. Now, in the interest of time, what we've already done is we've already heated up the beans because it may take a little bit longer to cook. So we heated up the beans, so we've already gotten them tender. So now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the onions into our pot that's already hot. So we're going to take that one off and put it in here. Let's transfer those onions right into there. Yep. Perfecto. That looks good. Nice looking onions.
Yes.
Now, onions are really good because they also have what's called prebiotics. We're talking about gut health now, which is really important in type 2 diabetes and really every disease that you can possibly think of. So when we're talking about good gut health, we want to make sure that we have both prebiotics and probiotics. The onions act as a prebiotic so that it gives the friendly bacteria in your gut something to eat and to chew on, so that it makes the gut healthy. And that is important because you know that you can actually have problems. If you have problems in your gut, it can actually cause you to be depressed.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because 80%, isn't it? 80% of serotonin, which is your feel-good hormone, is in your gut. So if your gut isn't working well, then it can cause depression. That's really interesting,
That
right?
is.
So we're trying to feed our good bacteria with these onions,
Oh,
the prebiotics with these onions,
all right.
okay? So now we're going to also add, this is rosemary. That's fresh rosemary.
Oh, wow, rosemary. Rosemary and beans?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Mom never did that.
Yes, but she did this. She put bay leaves in all of her beans, didn't
Yes,
she?
she did. Yes, she did.
And she did so many like really interesting things. I think she was just so ahead of her time.
Yes. Yes.
All righty,
Oh,
there
that
we go.
smells good.
See, look at that rosemary.
Oh, wow.
It looks and smells delicious. Yes, okay. Now we're gonna pop in this bouillon cube. This is
Okay.
a not chicken bouillon cube. We use a low sodium one. If you're concerned about sodium,
Wow.
use a low sodium one. We have a regular one. You can use half of that one just to get the flavor.
Oh,
Because
it
what this
smells
does is it makes the flavor kind of round and kind of broadens the base, you know, or maybe what you narrow the base or broaden the base.
Broaden the base.
Yes, makes it really, really good. And then we're going to just salt to taste, all right? So I'm going to just put a little bit of salt in there for now. And then
Okay.
you can just...
Wow.
Yes, there you go. Now, white beans and beans in general really are really good for type 2 diabetes.
Really?
Really. And for so many other things, right? It actually helps to lower your cholesterol. Did you know
Wow.
that? So most diabetics are going to have high cholesterol too.
Wow.
And so we are really trying to make sure that in all that we do, we're trying to make sure that we are spending our most prized commodity, our health, right?
Yes.
Because health is wealth, right? So
Right,
that's what
yes.
we're doing. And we're trying to make sure that what we're getting is not only health, but delicious health at the same time. Because you should not have to pay extra for your health, right? And certainly not pay extra for taste.
Right.
All right,
There you go.
there we go.
That smells good.
Okay, doesn't that smell good? Now, so we just let this just
Simmer?
simmer a little bit. You can see how that looks really nice. You got some nice broth in there, and it's kind of thickening up in there.
Yes.
So you want it to be a little thick. You don't want it to be, I mean, it depends on your taste, but
Right.
I usually like mine to be kind of in the form of a soup.
Oh, okay.
And then you can serve this with a sandwich. We made in another episode, we actually made this really, really delicious avocado, a pesto avocado sandwich. This would really be good.
It would
with
be.
that. Yeah, you can do that. Or you can serve it with just a salad, and that would be a full meal, right? The salad will serve as the roughage. And I always tell my patients to eat your salad first because it prepares the way for the rest of your food and gets the digestion working first, okay?
Okay.
So now we're ready, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna plate this in this beautiful bowl. So just take the ladle, and we're just gonna ladle some of that right in here, and then we're gonna top it with fresh parsley. Not only for beauty, but it's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. So we're gonna do that.
Do we do the juice?
Yes. Yes.
Just pour the beans?
Yeah, pour the beans, and then you can put a little bit of juice on top.
Okay.
Ooh, that smells really
It
good.
does.
So if you cook it a little bit longer, it'll get a little thicker. If you cook it for a shorter period of time, it'll be thinner.
Okay.
So that's up to you and whatever your taste is, okay? Look at that. Now you can remove the bay leaves afterwards. I kind of like the way it looks, but you don't have to eat it because this one's a dry bay leaf, okay?
That's enough?
Alrighty, yeah, let's just do that.
Turn this on.
And then let us put some fresh parsley on top.
Oh, wow.
And look how beautiful that is.
That is.
And the smell is amazing.
This smell is amazing.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Our next dish for today is black bean soup. Wait till you try that one. Here are the ingredients. We're going to do a pound or 2.5 cups of dried black beans, 1 medium red onion, we'll chop it well, 4 medium garlic cloves, and we're going to peel it and smash it as we cook it in the beans. 2 bay leaves, a teaspoon of salt or salt to taste. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 6 cups of water, and you can gauge if you need more. Then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of finely chopped cilantro. We call it optional, but it really adds some depth of flavor in the beans. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to finish it with a tablespoon of lime juice. Now we're going to start with our delicious black bean soup. And I love black beans, right?
Oh, I could.
Do you love them?
I love them. Yes.
All right, so listen, in the interest of time, what we've already done is we have already kind of pre-cooked our black beans because these will probably take about 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours to kind of stew.
Right.
So we've kind of done that ahead of time so that we can do this a little quicker.
Okay.
But what I would like for you to do is I want you to saute, because now I think you're an expert at it, right?
Right.
Okay. Saute the onions and the garlic.
Gotta have some water.
And there you got the water. That's right. Okay. And then we'll just, perfect. Yes, okay. And then we'll just kind of turn the stove on medium-high heat. Yeah. There you go.
Down some more. Like that.
That's perfect. Absolutely. So while you're doing that, I'm going to take the beans and I'm going to mix it with water because this is going to be part of how we're making the kind of broth for the soup, okay?
All right.
So I'm going to put in a little water first.
It's this one. This spoon.
Yes, that would be perfect. And then if you could pass me the spoon part, I'm going to...
This one?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to put the beans in here. Okay.
So putting these in here. Okay. Next.
All right. Yes, there you go. And you're going to saute it. And then we're going to add the garlic too.
Wow. I can't wait to eat this. Just want to taste the beans.
Yeah.
I love black beans.
This could be like dinner.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I'm going to put a little bit more water in there. Okay. Now we do this differently, obviously, if we were making this from dried beans. So because of the cooked beans, we're going to put a little less water in it because it doesn't have time to cook it all out. I have here also some cumin, so we're going to put that cumin in there. And then we have 2 bay leaves that we're going to use. Cook those in there, yes. And then once we finish sauteing that, we're going to pop that in here too.
Okay.
And here's the thing, you know, with beans, sometimes it's really difficult. I remember when I first got married, I was trying to cook beans. It was probably my first time ever cooking beans from scratch. And I'm happy to say that it was several years ago.
Oh, good.
But I was trying to make some beans from scratch. And I made the beans and then I put salt in them. And the beans never softened.
No. So if you put the salt in before, you should wait until they're almost done.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I wait until they're a little tender because then it doesn't, Barbara, our oldest sister, calls it tightening up the bean. So we will do this. And I remember calling Barbara and saying, Barbara, what happened? My beans are not getting soft. And she said, did you put salt in them? And I said, yeah. She said, don't do that. So now I've learned to wait to put the salt in.
Yes.
All righty. So those look good.
It's time.
Yes.
Let's see.
So I will take those
And put them in there.
and put a little bit more water in here too. Kind of like maybe an inch above the beans or something. And you know, again, you can add water as you go along. But we're gonna take, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna take some of these beans out, and then we're gonna puree them and then thicken up this liquid as well. Okay.
Okay, that's
so you
gonna
can go
be
ahead
good.
and pop those in there.
Okay.
Yes.
That's gonna be good.
You sure knew how to get some onions out of a pan.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay, we can
All
set
right.
that over here.
And then you can turn that stove off there.
Okay.
And then this just simmers for a few minutes. But again, since we've already made the beans softer, I'm going to go ahead, just in the interest of time, let it simmer for like a minute, maybe 2 for us for here, and put the top on there. I think that it's, need to turn this on because that would really help.
Right, it would.
It really helps when there's heat.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, so we're gonna put the top over here. Now, when we talk about beans, beans are really, really, really good for you. I know we talked about beans good for your heart, right?
The more you eat, the more
The better your heart.
The better
right?
my heart.
So we're trying to better our heart,
Right,
right?
right.
And so we know that with type 2 diabetes, what we are kind of up against is we have this condition, we call it accelerated atherosclerosis. And that's a big word, and I'm saying a big word so you know that I'm really a doctor. That was just a joke. But we just put that, we call it accelerated atherosclerosis. And what that means is that atherosclerosis means that it starts to lay down these plaques inside the blood vessels. And because of diabetes, it does that faster than the normal population. So what we're trying to do is clean out those blood vessels. So the fiber that's in these beans will actually help to clean the blood cells out, right? The blood vessels out because of the fiber kind of pulls out excess cholesterol.
Wow,
Right?
I never knew that.
Yeah, so your body does need some cholesterol, but you don't need a lot of cholesterol, right? Because cholesterol is used to make hormones and different things that different processes in your body, but we don't want excess cholesterol because then it starts to cause plaque formation, and that's when you have heart attacks and strokes and things like that. And remember, we're spending health as our new commodity. So we want health as our wealth, and we don't want to lose that. So we're keeping that going on. So the fiber is also good for our bowels, right?
Really?
Right. Because, you know, there's so much colon cancer going on. The fiber actually helps to clean out the bowels too.
That's good. So if you have IBS,
it's a good thing.
That's a good thing for
It's a good thing for it, right?
Wow.
But you want to eat beans in connection or in conjunction with other healthy foods too.
Right.
Because, you know, IBS, you can kind of have an alternating, you know, diarrhea, constipation, kind of goes back and forth in that. So you want to make sure your diet completely is one that's more healthful and that feeds your gut.
Okay.
So we have just let this saute just a little bit. And, you know, you would probably, ooh, smell that.
Smell good. Okay.
Yeah? Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is if you pass me that ladle, I am going to take about maybe just a couple of these scoops. Not with the bay leaf. I'm going to leave the bay leaf in there.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm going to put some beans in with a little bit of the liquid.
Wow.
Okay. And then basically we're just going to put this in our high-speed blender. All right. Now I'm just making it just a little thicker, right? And it just thickens up the broth a bit.
So you're gonna put it in?
Yes. I'm gonna use my spoon here, and I'm gonna try not to pour it in too quickly so it doesn't splash.
Wow.
There you go. Now, you know, another thing that you can do with this is you can actually puree your black beans. You know, sometimes you might have somebody who has difficulty chewing, but they still want to eat delicious food, right?
Right.
So if you puree these beans for them and served it to them, they would even still think it's delicious, because this is actually something that they'll serve in high-end restaurants. And they'll puree it as a pureed soup. And you just puree it purely. Just make sure you don't have any specks in it and give it to them.
I can take
They
this
would
out.
love that. Now look at that.
Let me take this out.
You see, so now you got this darker, thicker broth in here. And that
smells so good.
Doesn't it smell good? That is delicious. Now, we're gonna put that aside because we gotta get to our third
Okay. All
bean
right.
dish.
Bean dish.
Right? And that third one is gonna be even more delicious. What's our third one? Do you remember?
Pepper, ginger, and
Red beans and
is
ginger with pepper.
That's what I want to say.
Absolutely.
That red
And the ingredients are a package of small dried red beans. That's probably about 2.5 cups. We're gonna rinse them, we're gonna sort them. We're gonna use 10 cloves of garlic, 2 inches of fresh ginger, 1 red pepper, 1 green pepper, and we're gonna chop those. And then we're going to use 1 not chicken bouillon cube. We're gonna follow with 1 bay leaf, and then we're gonna salt it to taste. Now we're going to make the pièce de résistance. Yes, it is called the red beans with ginger and pepper. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Now, again, in the interest of time, we've already kind of tenderized these beans, so we've already cooked them according to the package instructions. But I cooked them with smashed garlic just inside of that.
Oh, wow.
Normally we would do the whole beans with the garlic inside, but
Right.
because we've done it this way, in the interest of time, we're going to saute the garlic and the ginger over here, water saute, like you have become the expert at doing, right? So you want to start with this one.
Okay.
Okay. And then while you're doing that, I'm going to take the beans and I'm going to start this
That's
process.
enough.
Yep, that's good. That's perfect, actually. Okay. Alrighty. Now, can I have that red one there?
Sure.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to take. Oh, let me give you those.
Those,
first.
yes.
Okay. Here you go.
All right.
You start that, and then we'll do some peppers. Actually, just let the ginger kind of. Is it already on and heat?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Would you mind turning this one on for me too? All right. Perfect.
Turn it down a little bit.
Yes, yes. Actually, I'm going to boil it first to get some of the water
Okay,
too.
all right.
So that'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to put our beans in here.
This ginger smells good.
Yes, that's actually garlic.
Is it?
Here's the ginger.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
The one the garlic smell good.
Yes,
This
that smells
ginger
good,
just
right?
smell-
So I'm going to put this in here, some water. And again, I'm not going to put.
Oh, that's
Oops, I'm
the
spilling-
ginger. Oh,
yes,
the
that's the
ginger.
ginger. Can you smell it?
Yes.
Now, ginger is really a cool condiment. It's a cool root vegetable. It actually grows in the ground. And what's really cool is that you can actually take a ginger root. Like you can go to the grocery store, get some ginger root, and actually put it in a pot. Without doing any preparation, put it in a pot and it will grow roots and start shooting
Wow.
off ginger from those, right? But ginger is just really, really delicious. It's got this really deep kind of flavor and kind of a sweet flavor. And the way that I usually do the ginger is depending on what I'm doing actually. This particular ginger, we actually washed it, peeled it, and then grated it for this dish.
Okay.
And if I'm juicing, I'll wash it, but I don't peel it. I just put it in the hopper and let it come out with the ginger, right? So that's what we're doing here. So now I'm going to give you the peppers.
Wow.
While this is coming to a boil. So those are red bell peppers, and then I have green bell pepper. Yes.
That's pretty.
Yes. See, that color is beautiful, right?
Yes, it is.
When I think about all of the things that are in the foods, that you're getting seasonings, but you're getting antioxidants, like I call all of these foods superfoods.
Wow.
Right? These are superfoods. And so we're going to be super when we eat our
This smells good.
superfoods. Yes. Right. Okay. Now I'm going to put my bay leaf in here. I'll just have one bay leaf.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put in my not chicken bouillon cube. I use this not chicken bouillon cube a lot because it really kind of deepens the flavor of the food. And it's not salty tasting, but it does have sodium in it. So depending on how much you're using and how much water you're putting in it, it's usually 2 cups to 1 cube, or you can do 2 cups of water to 1 cube, or you can do half of a cube and a cup of water.
Okay.
Right? But it actually, deepens the flavor. So you'll see when I use the salt, I'm just using a little bit of salt just to round out the flavor.
Okay.
Right? Not to make it salty. So a little bit of water in there because you're going to put those ginger pieces and the peppers in here as we're cooking it.
Okay. So are you ready?
Almost. I think I want it to be a little bit more.
Should it be turned up?
You can.
Oh, did it?
You can turn it up a little bit. This one, I'm waiting for it to boil. And again, we talked about the salt when we talked about the black beans. I did not put any salt in here before the beans got a little tender. It's almost like they have to open up to accept the sodium. And if you put the sodium in there first, they just stay kind of tight and hard. I mean, I'm telling you, when I first got married and I tried to make my husband some beans, and those beans, they were so hard, and I called my sister and she was just like, did you put salt in? I mean, literally, I was boiling those beans for 3 days before I called her and asked her why they were not getting soft. Alrighty, so now that looks pretty good. So we can actually transfer that into here.
Let me turn this on.
Yes. That way we don't get burned.
Right. Okay.
All right, we'll move that over. Yes. Yes, and yes. Look at all that color in there.
It's beautiful. Can't wait to taste it.
Yes. And when you have, you know, when you're using different colors, you're using like the rainbow of colors,
Okay.
you're getting different antioxidants in there.
All right.
So I like it. You know, you'll get like in the onions, you're going to get onions or garlic. You're going to get like allicin, or you're going to get quercetin. You know, quercetin. We use quercetin for allergies.
Right,
Right. And that's
exactly.
in onions. Isn't that great?
And it is.
So God knew what He was doing.
Oh, yes, He did.
I always say that God put everything on earth that we need to stay healthy. We just got to figure out what it is and use it when it's time to use it.
Yes, it is.
Right? So this we're just going to let boil or come to, you know, just to let the flavors kind of meld a little bit. I'm going to just salt it to taste like that.
Okay.
And then we're going to use that and plate it, and then we'll show you what our finished product looks like.
Okay.
I'd garnish this with some, you know, fresh parsley, or maybe some fresh cilantro, or whatever you want to put in
on
here.
top.
Even some fresh thyme you can do that with. But we're going to take that, we'll have it plated. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, I
And
can't wait to
just
taste it.
wait until you taste it. We have done some dishes today.
Yes.
We did three
Yes.
different beans, because beans,
Beans good for your heart. The more you eat,
the better
more-
your heart. You got to get that, right? You got to get it. So here we go. So we'll see how that's boiling up. And then we have this beautiful finished product. It just looks gorgeous.
Just wanna
And
taste
it smells delicious. And it tastes even better.
Yes.
So our 3 dishes today, we've made black bean soup. We've made rosemary white beans. And we've made red beans with ginger and peppers.
Yes.
Who knew that you can add so much flavor to beans? Who knew that they were so healthy for you? And who knew that diabetics this is the friend to the diabetic, and actually the friend to everybody?
Yes.
Fiber is key because your health is key. And because health is wealth, that's our new commodity. That's what we want to spend, is our health.
Yes.
So Janice, thank you so much for coming in.
I enjoyed
and
it.
I
really did.
enjoyed having you
I'm
with me.
excited about these.
She's assisted me. She knows how to water saute
Yes, I
now.
do.
And so this
Yes,
is
I
really
do.
exciting.
Yes, it
I
is.
can't wait for our future episodes, because we're going to be here right here. So join us for our next episode.